What's happening, guys? Just wanted to share with you something that's been on my mind that I feel I need to share with you guys, just for those of you interested in something that's probably going to be a reminder for most of you. And that is something that I've been doing way more than usual in the last few weeks, which is the very basic habit shift of moving from a little bit of walking a day to a fairly significant amount of walking every day. Not a crazy amount of walking every day, but significant. And that has made a huge difference. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you'll know that I quit caffeine for at least 5 months, because that's where the caffeine update video got to, but I actually got to 11 months in the end, which took me to August of last year, 2024. I did dive back in unashamedly into drinking caffeine. I just figured that a little bit of coffee every morning is, although in my mind, in my understanding, is ideally not to be included in your life if you can avoid it. I figured that life kind of balanced itself out in a way in terms of the joy that I got from a morning cup and the productivity that it gave me to incentivize me to get back into it for just a little amount every morning. But in doing that, I realized that my sleep was becoming more complicated, in that I found it harder and harder to get back to sleep. Whereas during that 11-month phase when I was off caffeine entirely, including black tea, I was sleeping like a baby every night, no questions asked, no matter what I'd been doing in the day. But with the caffeine in the morning, even before noon, I'm quite sensitive to it. In fact, very sensitive. I struggled to sleep very much. I'd probably lose like an hour or two a night compared to normal. So, up until fairly recently, I've been doing a bit of walking every day, a bit of exercise, but not a huge amount. And I was struggling with sleep then. But now I've kind of consciously upped the ante a little bit, and I'm now walking at least 6,000 steps every day. Nothing monumental, sometimes up to 12,000 steps. But my sleep has improved markedly. I feel better, my posture's improving, I just feel healthier, I feel fitter, I feel I can go further every time I set out to walk. And in the run up to the walk, it never feels obvious in my mind that it's something worth doing until I'm actually into the walk, and I realise, my goodness me, Alex Mathers, you made a good decision, mate. This feels good, and I begin to look forward to walking more. And I have to sometimes kind of tear myself away from the walk so that I get home and actually get something done. So that's the main point of this video, is have an experiment with not only walking, some walking, but significant amounts of walking. Walk enough that you see a real benefit, a noticeable benefit. I think a lot of us do the walking, but we only do enough to make it seem as if it's not really doing much. And of course that disincentivizes us to want to keep walking, and so we give up and we kind of peter out on our commitments to exercises because we don't really do enough. It's not significant, it's not far enough, it doesn't give us the mental opening for us to really see the benefit. And I say mental opening because walking has proven to be an extremely good stiller of the mind. It stills my thoughts and it helps me see more clearly and helps me ultimately think more clearly, and a lot of the challenges I have faced that I have day to day are often solved on the walk. All of these things but it's often useful to have that reminder. Take your short daily walks, your walks that are done purely out of practicality, make them a little bit more significant and work your way up to it. You don't need to be walking 8,000 steps tomorrow, you can work your way up to it. Especially if you've been struggling with sleeping, that will make a big difference, like it has for me. I just feel way better. Sleep is the foundation. If you can sort your sleep out, everything kind of transfers over across from there. Mental health improves, thinking capacity improves, mood improves, and just everything else, of course, follows on from that. So, and you get suntan as well, which is an added bonus at this time of the year. So, significant amounts of walking. And of course, that's depending on you, it's in your context, depending on your level of fitness and so on. But see if you can get a little bit more of a walk in than usual, and report back with your thoughts on it. Nothing groundbreaking, obviously, but sometimes we just need that little reminder, just like I did. You know, you can kind of fall off the wagon, so to speak, and forget how significant, how powerful it can be. Because if you can figure out a habit that addresses the absolute core component of your productivity, health, happiness, energy, which is sleep, then you've really landed on something pretty significant. Wouldn't you agree? And that for me is not just walking a little bit, it's walking fairly significantly without taking too much of your time, so that you sleep better, you feel better, etc., etc. So that's it, I think, for today's point. You know, I'm working, as well as you guys know, on delivering more consistent videos, and I'm trying to keep it simple and to one message per video. So hopefully that hit the point, that made sense, and I've got to make sure I'm looking at you in the camera. See you at the next video. Take care.